Welcome back, Truth Seeker. I want to talk about Justin Verlander's remarks that were popular in the news yesterday, the day of the All-Star Game, July 9th, 2019. He said that it's obvious that the balls are juiced. That's what the new commissioner of the league wants is offense, so they juiced the balls. And just take a look at what they're emphasizing in the media. Juiced balls, which equals 35, just like how Verlander wears number 35, just like how this story broke July 9th, 19, a date with 35 numerology. And I'm going to read Verlander's remarks, and then I'm going to show you that I think he was put up to this to manufacture the controversy. Controversy sells. Baseball's trying to attract eyeballs. And baseball probably knows from sports history's past. When fans find out the games are rigged, manipulated, doesn't necessarily mean bad outcomes. Look at professional wrestling. It got way bigger once people found out it was all theater. But here it is. Justin Verlander isn't a fan of MLB's juiced balls. So these are Justin Verlander's exact remarks. I want to read them. Major League Baseball's turning this game into a joke. They own Rawlings, and you've got Manfred up here saying it might be the way they center the pill. Manfred's the new commissioner of baseball. They own the fucking company. If any other $40 billion company bought out a $400 million company and the product changed dramatically, it's not a guess as to what happened. We all know what happened. Manfred, the first time he came in, what'd he say? He said, we want more offense. All of a sudden he comes in, the balls are juiced. It's not coincidence. We're not idiots. Well, since he made those remarks, the majority of Major League Baseball has spoken, and according to Verlander, they are idiots because they're all saying they don't think the balls are juiced. But here, I just want to show you something about Verlander. I've talked about this for years. His entire career is a perfect script. All of his wins and losses this year have been perfectly scripted. And if you follow me on Patreon, we've been talking about Verlander's games and when it's a clear sign he'll get the win, loss, etc. So just some memorable examples from this year. He picked up his 206th career win in Seattle, the 206 area code. On June 1st, the day leaving 213 days left in the year, Justin Verlander, a name that equals 213, he got his 213th career win that day. And think about just how perfectly scripted everything would have to be for this to happen as it did. His most recent start, just before the All-Star break, he fell to 10-4 on the season against the Angels. Angels 104. And, speaking of idiots, I don't hear anyone in Major League Baseball questioning the death of Tyler Skaggs, which makes absolutely no sense. Why didn't Verlander talk about that? So Verlander right now at the All-Star break, his record with Houston is 31 wins and 13 losses. For his career, he's now up to 214 wins and 127 losses. 127 happens to be the 31st prime number, but he's playing with Houston at the time of this controversy. Houston's also 31. So anyway, Verlander must know that Major League Baseball is scripted. Again, these guys are paid like actors because they are. So to come out and create this controversy about all the offense this year and how they must be juicing the balls, what it really does is it makes the game in a way look like it has some legitimacy. Like it's always been legitimate up until the time of Manfred. Which it hasn't been. Anyone who has Netflix can watch Ken Burns' documentary on baseball. In one of the first episodes, they quote Spalding, the other ball company, and he talks about how the early days of baseball was all based on conspiracy. Conspiracy was the word because they had to rig the games to make them exciting so that people would watch and create narratives and storylines so people would be interested, just like what they've always done. And then the other thing, anybody who watches baseball now knows it's a joke. Look at these shifts they do. These shifts they do on defense, are you kidding me? They leave like 50, 60-foot holes in the infield with these shifts they do. What Little League Baseball player couldn't hit the ball through one of these holes. Seriously. Give me any Little League All-Star, I guarantee you he could bat at 1,000 in today's Major League Baseball. Guaranteed. Guaranteed he could bat 1,000 with the way they play with these shifts. It's just stupid. Who can't hit the ball through these holes? It's just such a joke. It's such a joke. It's all a mockery. It's like treating people as if they're retarded. And, Verlander's comments, they might very well be juicing the balls now too, but understand these guys can hit the ball out of the park on command. You ever go to a major league game and watch them take batting practice, just put it over the plate, they'll put it out of the park. So, anyway, baseball, pro sports, complete joke. Verlander's remarks, I think, just contrived controversy. Get people watching, paying attention, because nobody is. I mean, just pay attention to American League or Major League Baseball. When the World Series comes around, you'll see the headlines. World Series, less ratings than NBA at the beginning of the season when the games don't even matter. The NBA game will have 10 times the market share of the World Series. Nobody's watching baseball. So, they got to do anything. They might even start dressing up their players in Speedos. Anyway. Even Darryl Strawberry had to weigh in on the controversy. And if you followed my Patreon page, before the Home Run Derby was even played, we showed why Pete Alonso would likely win and why it would be a tribute to Darryl Strawberry. And by the way, Darryl Strawberry, the name Strawberry equals 149, which is the 35th prime number. And then the day after the Home Run Derby, you get these remarks from Verlander. And again, he wears the number 35 and Juice Ball's 35. But so funny that Darryl Strawberry weighed in. And just in case you missed my work on Pete Alonso, again, he plays for the New York Mets. He hit 57 home runs. Mets equals 57. He had his cousin Derek Morgan pitching to him 57. I'm always talking about the Mets in 57. Darryl Strawberry won the Home Run Derby 33 years earlier. New York equals 33. Cleveland equals 33. It was the only other time the Mets won. And then notice Home Run Derby sums to 148. Out of all the contestants, Pete Alonso was the only guy who had a name summing to 148. Out of the 4 base ciphers, he was the only guy that had a name connecting to Home Run Derby, period. And his last name, Alonso, was 76, like T-Mobile, the sponsor. Pete Alonso, also 41, like T-Mobile. T-Mobile 113, the 30th prime. Pete Alonso just broke Darryl Strawberry's record and came in to the Home Run Derby with 30 home runs on the season. 113, the 30th prime, one more time. And we liked him to face Guerrero too, which he did because it was Guerrero's 115th day of his age. This is the year of the 115th World Series. But we also talked about how the last Home Run Derby in Cleveland was 22 years earlier. And it was won by a New York player, Tino Martinez, who happens to have the same birthday as Pete Alonso, December 7th. Alonso's 24 years old right now. Mets is also 24. And in light of, the 57 home runs, with Derek Morgan 57 pitching to him and Mets 57, Darryl Strawberry's 57 years old at the time. So, anyway. Those are my thoughts. We'll leave it there, Truth Seeker. Until next time.